Usually when people see models or actors or actresses, they think that they want to be as good as them, as fit as them.
The media kind of sets a standard with like different commercials and stuff like that of what a body should look like and what you should act like.
I think it presents you with like a cookie cutter, like this is how you should be type image, and so when people aren't all the same and aren't all like that, it can affect their self-esteem negatively.
Every person has some sort of contact with the media anytime they're awake, because we live in a country that revolves around the media. So the media is going to embed its messages in our mind.
I think the media has an impact on self-esteem because it's so in your face all the time.
It's so prevalent. Like, there are so many different mediums. Like, you have TV, you have Snapchat, you have Instagram, you have Facebook, you have there are a lot of different outlets for it, and it's kind of inescapable.
By portraying a self-image that people have to live up to, such as men being extremely masculine or women being extremely feminine.
Sometimes it's when a girl looks at themselves and they don't see they have the makeup or something, they don't think they're beautiful, so their self-esteem will go down.
We see that and we let that influence us, and we let that kind of influence how we look at ourselves. And so we think, well, that person said that this is pretty, well, I'm not this, so I'm not pretty. And so they start to feel real bad about themselves.
If they're always portraying a certain body type, then they don't allow people to express themselves that are not that type of physique.
People will do whatever it takes to look like that person.
Because it's so in your face all the time, and if you let it bother you, it can, because again, it's always there.
Because people spend so much time on it that they start to think that what they see on social media is like how people live.
I think that because we live in the 21st century where all of this technology and everything has come into play in such a big way, that everybody kind of relies on the media to tell them how everything should be and how things are. And I think that when kids especially see all of these things in the media, then they think that they should be more like that.
But in the United States, we use these attractive people because it makes them almost dreamy, and I guess it takes us away from the reality that we live in.
Mostly for money, because the media any sort of media has to make money somehow.
Because it's more visually appealing. Like, it's more pleasant to look at.
Everybody's got this whole thing up about how other people are perfect and how people should be perfect, and nobody's really perfect, but the media just displays the good parts about everybody instead of, the whole picture.
It wants to make these people seem larger than life, something to live up to, something that they want to model you into.
I mean, we have the technology to make the unrealistic representations. We have the Photoshop and CGI, movie magic, whatever, that can make things look that way. And also, I think a lot of people can play off of people's negative self-esteem to help them get money or get what they want.
I can say that I've seen that a lot around high school, and I do think that that's really sad because the media does kind of affect that.
One of my fears of my sisters when they're teenagers was losing our parents, and it just surprises me that all these are so high.
I think it's interesting, like the one about like they're more afraid of gaining weight than getting cancer or whatever, or like losing their parents. And I guess that kind of makes sense because losing your parents is a lot less likely than gaining weight. But at the same time, it's really sad that we have such a phobia of like gaining weight that we put it above all those other things.
I guess you can say that everybody wants to try to fit in to what they perceive as the highlighted norm of the day.
So the very last one right there, the one with they would want to change something on them. Yeah, change something on them. It's because they're beautiful just the way they are. That's the problem today. They don't have a self-esteem to believe in themselves as beautiful.
Because it seems so real that people think that they need to look like that because that's what society tells them they need to look like. And it makes them feel insecure because it's so hard to get to where other people are.
Well, I can agree with those 98% of people because I've even gotten that pressure from, like my family and even a couple of my friends way back in the day before I told them to go away.
Well, I was gonna say the last one I have definitely seen happening where like younger girls feel a pressure to look a certain way because I led a middle school Bible study my senior year of high school, and I could really tell by the way they interacted with each other.
Girls just like they can be skinny as a toothpick, but they'll say they're fat because they don't look like models on TV. Like, I want to be that skinny, I'm not that skinny, I don't look like that, so they're just gonna call themselves fat. When in all honesty, they are skinny because they try so hard to make themselves look beautiful to everyone else.
The women, if they feel pressured, it can be an issue, but the media can't really help it if they're trying to sell their products and whatnot. Just comes down to women need to feel secure about themselves in order, to make themselves feel better.
Just like how, women want to look most of the time thinner and brightly complex, for men it's going to be muscle and stereotypical characteristics for manly men, like cut angles within your chin and the rest of your body.
I think that the media affects men almost the same way that it does women. It tells men that they have to be muscular and they have to be strong and they have to be tall and they have to be thin, and if they're not, then they're not good enough to be in sports and they're not good enough to get the girl like they do in movies. I think that men are really overlooked in this whole society thing because everybody focuses on how it affects just women when really it affects both of them, because the men have this certain image that they feel like they have to live up to and they shouldn't have to.
Honestly, most of the boys that regularly exercise are probably in some sort of athletics, and if they use steroids and protein supplements, it's probably to try to help their performance.
Well, I feel like these statistics come from like the way like society says men and women should act. So like women are supposed to be skinny, and so men are supposed to be all muscular and like tall and strong and defend the lady or whatever. And I feel like that's good for a man to be strong, but they don't have to be that way. I think that, when I'm looking for a guy, that I look more at his heart, and is he intelligent, and is he respectful, and is he caring, and that I think that matters more than how much can he lift.
Sometimes they'll just do it to try to lose weight because they don't think they're good enough. So they think that's going to help them, but it really won't. Models, they look for like tall, nice women, when any woman could look nice because they all use Photoshop. So you could do it to anyone, but they just do it so they could have less work maybe because they're lazy.
The modeling companies look for people that are specifically really tall and really thin, which makes it even more unrealistic because, as it says, there's only 5% of females that are actually like that. Like, even some of the models that are 5'11" and 170 pounds aren't that way naturally. They have to follow really strict eating habits and they have to work out. There's a big difference in being really thin and really tall than being healthy.
The media, whatever company it is, will take these models and they will modify how they look to make them look healthy instead of thin. And people will take that and think thin instead of healthy.
When they see that they don't have that, that really just kind of crushes them, and so they want to be like that. They try to be like that, and it does more harm than good more often than not.
I wasn't surprised by them. I know the media plays those tricks, does all that photoshopping and other crazy editing. I just feel it's unfortunate that they feel they need to do that.
It's kind of an industry thing too. Like, if you work in a certain area where you're seen by a lot of people, it doesn't have to be like modeling or anything like that either, but if you're seen by a lot of people, they hold you to a certain standard to look a certain way.
Well, a lot of it didn't really surprise me, like with the Photoshop and everything, because I knew that was happening. But what really surprised me was the one about the model who was told that she was too big to be like modeling, and she was so thin, and she was, I don't see how anyone could be like smaller than that and still be healthy. Like that was really shocking to me. I was surprised.
Well, I'm pretty shocked. Like, I knew that the media like airbrushed people and changed them, but I didn't realize like exactly how much. Or like the first girl, everything was completely changed. It wasn't like they enhanced her; they remade her. So, kind of disgusted and appalled.
How are we supposed to live up to those expectations when they're not physically feasible? Like, in at least 2 of those videos, three of those videos, there were the people who were modeling were photoshopped and were completely different than how they looked at the beginning. Those were not real people. Why do they want us to be them when even they are not them?
Photoshopping, I think, should be illegal. For whenever you're modeling, it should be modeling like that. You shouldn't just Photoshop. You should just model if you want to model.
Here was definitely middle school, 6th and 7th grade, before I had like really close friends.
Throughout high school, I thought I was overweight, and for a while I thought, okay, I'll try to eat less and work out twice a day.
I was someone who did not date a lot when I was younger, for the simple reason that I felt I didn't necessarily fit in the image that society was portraying at the time.
Probably, like, as far as my image or like the way I look, it was probably when I was dealing with acne a lot in like middle school and the beginning of high school, because I felt like that I was just like gross to look at.
In middle school, whenever you're all growing up and it's really awkward, and I remember like buying certain clothes that were like really tight and they didn't feel good, but it's what everyone else was wearing. Like, I can think of like a pair of skinny jeans that like I wore because my friends had them.
I'm starting to believe that I am, because God created me for who I am, and love myself first.
I exercise somewhat daily, but that's just, so I don't, get overweight.
And personally, I think I'm attractive because I am attractive. But I think I'm attractive because I'm choosing to be me, and I'm not trying to fit into society's mold.
I am not attracted by any means. I feel like I have to work out more, and that I'm not at a healthy weight. That I'm not muscular enough, I'm not thin enough, that I'm not manly enough.
I'm a happy person. I feel I'm attractive all the time. If I'm happy and I'm enjoying life, I'm attracted. And if I'm attractive, then people are attracted to me.
If you love yourself and you can sustain the lifestyle that you're living, you're perfect.
You are beautiful the way you are. No matter what you look like, you are who you are.
Don't let other people get you down by what they say about you. All you gotta remember is you are beautiful just the way you are, as Bruno Mars said when he named the song.
Don't worry about what's out there. Just worry about yourself. Be the best that you personally can be. Don't worry about what other people think. It may seem important now, but a few years from now and beyond, it's not gonna matter.
The message I would want to send is that you are beautiful, and there's so much more than what the media portrays as beautiful.
Try to feel happy with the body you have.
Know about what's going on in the media. Be aware that it's not all real and that you shouldn't be basing your expectations off of what you see. And I also want to encourage people to speak out against it if they feel like that's what they need to do, by just helping others promote positive body type, and being accepting of all body types is like wanting to be healthy and not necessarily wanting to look right, but just wanting to have the healthy body that's going to help you be the most happy.
Hi, Mom.